Howdy everyone, Poacher here with an Age of Magic video, and in today's video we get to do something special. We get to do the hero spotlight for Willow, and you're probably asking what is special about that? Well, if you are familiar with Age of Magic and you're familiar with the factions, Willow would be the 8th Assassin's Guild member introduced to the game, exceeding the once known 7 members max to a faction. She is the first hero brought into the game that exceeds that 7 limit. So exciting times there. Finally bringing out new heroes for factions or older factions, which is wonderful. So Willow is the rogue of the Assassin's Guild. She has a very witchy theme. We'll go over her stats, her abilities, and we'll have a bit of a play around with her in the arena. So with her stats, her hit points come in at 12 million, speed 236, armor 249k, magic damage resistance 263k, basic damage 373k, critical hit chance 43%, and crit damage is 1.6 million. The more in-depth stats are here. Feel free to pause, take whatever information you want, and use it how you see fit. So let's jump into the arena and go over this character's skills. Willow's basic attack is slashing sickles. Casts hit lists on the target. Your allies can now use abilities on the target, ignoring any bans. Hit list ignores fortitude when cast, removed upon target's death, or transfers to another target. If a target on the hit list dies, this skill enters a cooldown for 2 turns. Performs 2 merely physical attacks on the target. If the target was on the hit list before the ability was used, they receive additional damage equal to 5% of Willow's basic damage per stack. Damage is increased by 50% when awakened. Additional damage per stack on the hit list target is increased. If the target was on the hit list before the ability was used, they lose all buffs at the end of the attack. So we'll go ahead and use the ability on the Luxuria. We'll go ahead. We're all set. Beautiful. She'll dash across and attack. Wonderful. The ability, nothing crazy about it, but the good thing about the ability is when awakened, it has the ability to remove those buffs. So I'm pretty sure Demetria can do the same thing. So if you're wondering who you could replace in a not Van North's, the Assassin's Guild, I'm sorry, they look exactly the same to me. Their color scheme is exactly the same. So yeah, it's a bit annoying in Raid. Off topic, but just wanted to state that. Yeah, if you're wondering who to replace on the Assassin's Guild team, Demetria could be a suitable replacement since, again, if awakened, this ability can remove buffs, which is what Demetria can do, though non-awakened. So you got to weigh it up, really. Who do you want to replace? I think still you're getting more value out of Willow. So we'll move on to her next ability. Willow's second ability is Deadly Windmill. Performs 4 merely physical attacks on the target. If the target is on the hit list, then the critical damage of each attack is increased by 20%. If Willow was hidden before casting the ability and the target has less than 30% HP after the attack, then the target dies. Awakening this, damage is increased by 50%. Critical damage of every attack on the hit list target is further increased. Reduce HP percent threshold for the target to die after an attack. If the target is killed by this ability, they cannot be revived. So awakening it throws in an anti-resurrection clause, which is always nice. What I like about this ability, before we even look at it, is that it strikes the target 4 times. I love multi-hit abilities. It helps you get rid of certain buffs that have stacks. Every attack or every hit does remove a stack. So we'll go ahead and look at the animation on the Luxuria. She'll go ahead and bang, 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 bang. And we just did not reach the 30%. 30%, I'm pretty sure. 98% sure is when they go into red, the red health bar. So just short of that, but other than that, has the potential to do a lot of damage, has the execute and the anti-resurrection if you awaken it. Yeah, just a nice execution skill, fitting for an Assassin's Guild member. Willow's third ability is Plague Harvest. Performs 2 merely physical attacks on all enemies. Attack damage is increased by 5% for every effect on Willow and the hit list targets. If Willow is hidden, the attack ignores all armor and defensive effects. Awakening this, damage is increased by 50%. Attack damage for effects on Willow and the target is further increased. For every enemy killed by this attack, every other enemy receives damage equal to 50% of Willow's basic attack. So we're going to go ahead and use the ability. It should do a fair amount of damage. Okay, yeah. To be fair, I do not have this set up properly. So why the damage is low there and why it will be higher in a regular battle is because the damage is heavily influenced by the buffs on both Willow and debuffs, and the enemies on the hit list target. So if you start this fight off properly, and what I mean by properly is Blade will move before Willow. He can apply 3 hit list targets to the enemy. So that's 3 enemies that you are gaining damage from for both buffs and debuffs. So yeah, when you don't see much damage there, don't take it to heart. It's simply because the battle hasn't played out how it should normally. So, but you'll see that at the end. When we do an actual battle, you'll see the difference in what this ability can actually do. Finally, we have Willow's passive power of the Outcast. At the start of the battle, the Allied Blade's initiative is increased by 100%. So that's what I mean. He's going to move before Willow. He's going to be able to get the hit list targets out there. While Willow is alive, hit list stacks cannot be removed or recast. Any damage Willow deals to the target on the hit list is guaranteed to be critical. So you take into account she does more damage with critical strikes as well. So yeah, that's what I mean, potential for a lot of damage. Any damage, we've already read that. Every time the hit list target receives critical damage, Willow receives target in cover for 2 turns. When Willow deals damage to the target on the hit list, every other hit list enemy receives 15% of that damage. So there's a lot of splash damage she is capable of. Awakening the passive. While Willow is hidden, magic damage taken is reduced by 30% and critical damage dealt is increased by 15%. If Willow is hidden and deals damage to a target, she has a 50% chance to extend all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. If the damage dealt is critical, debuff extension is guaranteed. So you're almost going to be critically striking with her. So, I mean, it's a bit far off. There's been no mention of it, but for example, if medallions come out for these heroes, crit rate is probably not one you're going to want on this character. Crit damage, attack damage would be insanely good on her, but that is her skill set. Very nice. I think she just fits the assassin theme quite well, but let's jump into a battle against everyone's favorite arena team, the Chaos Spawn, and see how they perform. Okay, so jumping into battle, we get Blade moving first. Let's go ahead, apply our hit lists. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and get some... what do they call it? Let me just double check. I forget what it's called. Delayed death. Delayed death. Ooh! Stop it! That is spicy damage. That is very spicy damage. Okay, we're going to get our parry out on the Yuki. We're going to execute the... Woohoo! Oh, stop it. Stop it. God, Sid still does a lot of damage, doesn't he? That's okay. That's okay. Because we can execute him. Gosh, golly, golly, gosh. Oh, drop below 10. There we go. Nice! Woo! Now, I've done that battle a few times. I'm going to let you know right now. It doesn't always go that smooth. More times than not it does. But there are some situations where that Luxuria can survive. And when she survives... Oh, it's a scary fight. It's a very scary fight. So, yeah. I would be heavily... When these characters get... awakenings, sorry. Oh, yeah, I mean, some of them still lacking awakenings. Like Ash, for example, that would be very impactful, I believe. But when they get medallions, I would be definitely investing heavily in attack damage and crit damage for Willow, because she's going to be the best way of taking out that Luxuria before she gets a turn. But there you go. That is Willow for you. The first character to take a faction past 8 or 7 heroes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will answer it to the best of my ability. And if you're around the world, until next time, please take care of yourself.